Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 12th of October up until the 18th to see if there's anything worth your time and money. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out.
Now this episode's sponsored by Son of a Gun. It's an intense action-packed top-down shooter. There are lots of different weapons that you can pick up. You've got 3 different slots that you can equip them to, and it's twin-stick controls, which I have to say are really precise. You've got 6 different characters, and you'll upgrade them as you go throughout the storyline, which is set over several different planets. And it's old school in the best possible way. Now as you get the game's in-game currency, you can then put those points into, as I say, improving your character at the end of each stage, or you can buy ammo for your weapons. There are also grenades, and you can carry 2 different types, and there are 8 massive bosses in here. It's quality, it's proper old school in the best possible way. It's developed by Crank Goblin and published by Untold Tales, and it will take just 2.7 gigabytes to download, and we will have a full dedicated video for you, but maybe stick it on your wish list or check out our video when it drops. Once again, a thanks to Son of a Gun and Untold Tales for sponsoring this episode.
So first up for this week then we have Neva, which is published by Drova Digital and comes from the team behind the critically acclaimed Gris. It says that this tells the story of Alba, a young woman bound to a curious wolf cub following a traumatic encounter with dark forces. Together they embark on a perilous journey through a once beautiful world as it slowly decays around them. If it's anything like the aforementioned Gris, I am assuming it's going to be a bit of a slow burn platformer with some puzzle elements, with a beautiful aesthetic, which I can see from the screenshots to be fair, of a world that probably changes around you as you progress through the game. This one releases on the 15th and will sell for £17.99 if you are interested. Next up we have Drova Forsaken Kin, which calls itself an action RPG that marries the dark grim tones of its genre with the mysticism of Celtic mythology. It says that you'll dive into a handcrafted open world where your choices and actions shape the environment. You'll join one of 2 factions, each with their own values and in pursuit of their own goals. Your choice will be relevant for the rest of the game and impact the entire story. It says you can forge your own path around dangerous landscapes, fulfill tasks, trade, gather and craft equipment, and that you'll learn numerous abilities taught to you by a number of characters, but you can expect foes and betrayals along the way too. All sounds very interesting, I must say, and it has that lovely top-down zoomed out pixel style which really does resonate with me. It's out on the 15th and will sell for £22.99 or your regional equivalent. Then we have Crow Country. Now talking of games that really resonate with me, this one certainly does that, as it's a survival horror game that seems to have taken heavy inspiration from the classics within the genre, most notably things such as Resident Evil. It has that fixed camera perspective and it looks as if item management will be key as it was in those games, but this one's story is based around a theme park named Crow Country. It says don't be deceived by the whimsical surroundings, something is awfully wrong in Crow Country. You'll need to test yourself against puzzles and riddles as you investigate the eerie tranquility of the abandoned theme park. Sounds like a great idea or a great setting for a horror game, and it's clearly going for that PlayStation 1 type vibe with the visuals. Definitely one that I'm looking forward to next week. It's out on the 16th and it will sell for £16.75. Then you have an offer in from Nintendo themselves with Super Mario Party Jamboree. It says here that you'll join the latest Mario Party for a jamboree of 7 boards and over 110 minigames. It promises the biggest party yet, and you'll go from running through merry-go-rounds to motion-controlled golf, with the most minigames of any Mario Party game to date. I have to admit, Mario Party is never a series I've really got on board with. I don't dislike it by any stretch of the imagination, I've played bits of it here and there, but it's never been a series that's really held my attention, despite the fact that I grew up with a Nintendo 64 at around about the time that first game came out. Let me know though if you're looking forward to this one. Tell me which of the Mario Party games is your favourite. Stick it all in the comments section below. If you are one of those people looking forward to this, it's out on the 17th and will sell for £49.99 or your regional equivalent.
You can move up to 40 spaces with a lucky roll. Here on Goomba Lagoon, the ebb and flow of the tide can change your path. And things really get mixed up when the volcano blows its top.
Also this week we have Dungeons 4 Nintendo Switch Edition. This first released back in 2023 and is a strategy simulation game where you'll need to build dungeons to suit your creature's needs and then rule over them, sending them out into the overworld to kindly remind the good people living there that absolute evil rules according to the blurb. It says you can gather your evilness in new and dynamic ways and unleash it upon the lush green forests and plains of the overworld to turn them over to the dark side. You'll also need to make sure your dungeon is well secured with traps and defended by creatures to stop any wannabe heroes from making their way inside. This Nintendo Switch Edition features an exclusive princess outfit for Thalia, a new outfit option for the little snots, and a unique skin for your throne room, as well as the deluxe package including the Storming of Doloran map, skins for Thalia and the Evil Hand, and the official soundtrack and digital artbook. Pretty expensive though at £45.99, albeit you can get 10% off of that price up until launch day, which is the 17th. We then have ASTLIBRA Gaiden, The Cave of the Phantom Mist. This is a side story for ASTLIBRA, starring a new protagonist in a 20+ hour adventure according to the blurb. It says you'll challenge randomly generated dungeons in a roguelike gameplay style loop, and you can strengthen your character with various methods of growth, using all new magic attacks to beat up enemies and relieving stress. I remember the ASTLIBRA game coming out and I'm pretty sure it got a good reception when it did release, and as it said, this is a standalone side story to that game. It's not classed as DLC for the main game itself as far as I can see on the eShop, and it releases on the 17th for £8.69 if you want to pick it up. Another game releasing this week is Blazing Strike. This is a one-on-one fighting game with 14 unique playable characters, which is inspired by the SNK fighters games such as King of Fighters or Fatal Fury. You can fight against your friends or take it online with rollback netcode used, and the story revolves around an apocalyptic event which leaves the remains of human civilization in disarray, being overseen by a corrupt and murderous government. But a resistance group is ready to stand up for the people. It has those great chunky pixel sprites that I loved of arcade games back in the day, certainly fighting games. It will sell for £34.99, although you can get 10% off of that price up until the 17th of October. You have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed coming out this week, which is a follow-up story to the most recent movie that came out a few years back now, using that really nice sketched art style, the type that was first used, as far as I can remember at least, in the Spider-Man Spider-Verse film. It says here that since the ending of that movie, mutants and humans have been living together relatively peacefully, but new shipments of mutagenic ooze have been scattered about New York City, creating new mutants called Mubies, which are spawning everywhere. The four Turtle brothers need to take these new Mubies on and get the problem under control, and you can play the game either single player or in co-op, with just 2 players though, not 4 as you would expect or hope, and it says there are a number of different side missions that you can take on as well. I am looking forward to this one, albeit slightly tentatively. I do like the art style, it obviously carries it on from the movie, although the characters look a bit lifeless at times, certainly their expressions I must say. Hopefully it will still be a fun game to play though. It's out on the 18th and it will sell for £34.99 or your regional equivalent.
Or even make new friends from all across this famously friendly city.
The penultimate game for the week is Killing Time Resurrected, coming via Night Dive Studios, and this is a remaster of the game that came out in 1995 for the 3DO and the PC I believe, and I'm assuming it will use Night Dive's Kex engine, an engine they've used a number of times to remaster a few different games on modern consoles. It promises toggleable, high-resolution character artwork and sprites from the original versions, upscaled environmental texturing, smoother gameplay, more responsive controls, and expanded control and key bind settings. It will run at 60 frames per second, and it says that you can face off against enemies from both the 3DO and PC version for the first time, utilising weapons that were once exclusive to each version. I like Night Dive Studios' work so far. They've done a lot of good with remastering some of these games, and it's nice to see a game that, owing to the console it released on, is probably quite obscure these days, getting a new lease of life. It's going to release on the 18th and will sell for £20.99. And finally for the week then we have RetroRealms Arcade. Now this is almost like an overarching umbrella, if you like, for two other releases this week, being Halloween and Ash vs the Evil Dead. So basically these games are available to play, and you play them inside the RetroRealms Arcade. You can walk around it and see the arcade machines themselves. They're both platform games by the looks of it, using the characters from the Evil Dead and Halloween series, Ash Williams and Michael Myers, in 16-bit pixel art worlds. Ash battling hordes of deadites across multiple levels, and Michael Myers making his way through familiar sights and sounds from the original Halloween film. You can connect the titles together to unlock new access and abilities, creating an ultimate mashup of horror legends. But the one thing I will say is I'm not quite sure how the pricing works. I'll read what the eShop says. Take it as what it is though, me literally just reading what's in front of me, and that's that the RetroRealms Arcade itself looks to be a free download, obviously with no content, and then you can buy things to add to it, a bit like how pinball games are. But then there is a bundle for Evil Dead and a bundle for Halloween. Both say they include the arcade, as you would expect, and I'm assuming their idea is to have further releases down the line with other horror characters, each with their own arcade machine within that setting. To be honest, as a horror fan it sounds amazing, it's just whether it can all be pulled off. We'll see next week I guess, when it releases on the 18th of October. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of those games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can use our website switchup.gg to get your eShop cards, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback. And there are other links down there to places such as PlayAsia. Again, use the link, use the code stated, and you get yourself 5% off of your order from there. Just before I go, I do want to say that I've recently released a second channel separate from SwitchUp, which focuses on my other great hobby in life, which is Lego. My first video released earlier this week, and I'm intending to release one video a week on Wednesdays from this point on. It would be great to see some of you over there. Perhaps subscribe whilst you're there if you like what I'm doing. I'd really appreciate the support. I'd forgotten just how difficult it was to start again on YouTube. But yeah, it'd be lovely to see you over there if you would be so kind. I'll put a link to the channel in the top right hand corner and the top pinned comment. Thank you very much if you do visit. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.